Hello and welcome to episode 6 of We Conquered All the Bostik, the only podcast dedicated to Enfield Town FC. To orientate you as a listener, we're recording this straight after the home draw against Hemel Hempstead Town, which combined with other results means that Town are relegated. It follows a testing Easter period that saw Town blow a 2-goal lead at home to Chesham, losing 4-3 before a pretty dire 3-0 defeat away to Chelmsford. So that's the current situation. I'm Michael Lacquier, your regular matchday commentators, and with me are the two regular co-commentators plus an extra special guest today. To introduce our regular co-commentators, we've got John Manatara, typically the happiest man in North London, although not quite today.
Yeah, well, still, I'm looking forward for the future and beating Cheshunt in our Boxing Day derby probably at this rate.
You see the glass is still half full, John.
Yeah, I have to.
And the voice of the North London airwaves, it's Paul Minnell.
Good afternoon, everybody, and bit of Ricky. We're on our way.
But our special guest today, he will be known to many around the club. If you don't know him by name, you'll know him by sight. He's one of the unsung heroes at the club. He's carried out 1,001 roles within the club. Club photographer, Clubman of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ben Mammen.
Afternoon.
Did you get a trophy, by the way, for being Clubman of the Year?
Yeah, it's still in my room.
So you'll have to polish it up and give it back to the club at the end of the season.
I think I was meant to give it a couple months ago, but I just still haven't.
But you never know, you might retain it.
You should parade it end of the season.
Should keep it.
No one will know, Ben. There's no way anyone could find that out.
Just duplicate it.
So, Ben, as I say, I don't think that's done you justice, that introduction, because just from a commentary perspective only, the amount of help you give us in the commentary box, away games, you're the one helping with the sound check. The post-match interviews, you're the one often filming it. You're the one sometimes carrying out the interview as well. Just this podcast doesn't happen unless you help us out with sorting out the room and all that. But what are your roles? I know you're club photographer. Can you sum up some of your roles within the club?
I don't really know how to put it into words. There isn't an official role that I have. I think if I would put one, it would be photographer. But in a way, I do the club social media most match days. Like if you see anything put up on the account on a match day, either beforehand or afterhand.
Is that Instagram?
Instagram, Twitter. Facebook, and the occasional TikTok. But yeah.
So when on Twitter or X or whatever they call it these days, you get the kind of commentary of the match on 12 minutes. Are you doing all that then?
When I'm taking pictures, no. When I'm not taking pictures, yes.
Right.
So
okay.
when I'm not taking pictures, it's probably Gabe, as people may know. If people don't know Gabe, he's our director and the lead of the media at the club. So he tends to do it during the games.
I should point out as well, I think this is a good example of how a couple of volunteers do so many jobs at the club, and sometimes I don't think fans necessarily realise that. I remember one game in which I was commentating with Ram. It was an away day somewhere, and I passed the mic over to Ram and then realised he was on his phone, which I thought was a bit weird. It turned out he was tweeting, he was doing the club Twitter while doing the co-commentary. Yeah. And then what incensed me afterwards was that there were complaints the Twitter feed isn't up to date. They didn't notify this and that. And I thought there were so few volunteers doing so many things.
Yeah.
If you want to improve service, I think just volunteer yourself and help out.
I was going to say, if you're going to complain, at least do something.
Yeah.
So the photos that go up on Facebook as well, you're doing those?
Yeah. So,
some really good shots as well you do, to be honest. Really
so there's a lot of pressure on match day, isn't there? Because there's the Instagram stuff, there's Facebook, there's X, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, it is a lot of pressure in some ways, but I'm quite composed when I do it. Yeah. I'm not saying I don't feel pressure, but I don't panic really. I just have to.
And I suppose you've been doing it for a while as well.
How did you get involved then, Ben?
As mental as it sounds, my D of E. So my bronze D of E, I needed volunteering, and I was a fan beforehand.
Yeah.
I went to basically every home game and most away games, didn't do all of them obviously, and then I knew Gabe at the time, who was the lead of the media, and I was like, can I do some volunteering for my D of E? And he said, yeah, sure. And then I started off just doing Instagram, and over time I think I kept bothering him with just millions and millions of ideas of like what the club could do, and then eventually I was like, right, I'm going to make some graphics and stuff for the club to use. And then as time went on, this was about the time when we got promoted, so towards the end of that like season, I was like, when can I get everything else? Because no one else, like the effort was only made on the account I was doing, and then I felt like the other accounts were like kind of slacking in a way. So then I was just like, right, when could I be able to get them all? And he said maybe, and then we got promoted. I'm like, right, we're at step 2 now. There's no way that we're going to leave it like this. And I was like, can I take over most of it? And then he said, yeah. And then I was like, and then I kind of just didn't stop there.
When you say he, you're talking about?
I'm talking about Gabe.
Gabe, right.
Gabe is,
yeah.
And the DV, that's Duke of Edinburgh, that was during our promotion season that started, was it? Yeah.
So, I mean, I missed like 3 or 4 games because of it, but other than that,
that's great.
I had a commitment to the club.
And so, I mean, you seem to be here every game. Can you describe a typical match day? How does it work?
How does it start
Mammen?
from when you walk in through
when
the
I
door?
walk in.
I mean, it's a few hours before kick-off as well. It's all consuming, isn't it?
Well, depending on what like game it is, I would say. Like, say we kick off if we kick off at 3 on a Saturday and we're at home, dependent on basically what time I wake up.
Well, you're young lads.
Spot the teenager.
The arrival is between 11 and 12. I normally arrive at 11:30. And the first thing I do when I walk in is I will go around and take shots at the ground to essentially put out on socials, like to kind of get the vibe of like the match day atmosphere to go, even if no one's in the ground, because by the time I get to games, like it is empty. The only people that are there are the people that are on the athletics track beforehand. And then you say like who I will call the real heroes of the club, the people like Neil Butterfield, Kitman, people like Neil Lutwich, the groundsman, Pete, other people like that who are here all the time and really work their socks off for the club.
Well done.
You did well there, then. Good stuff. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they are the real heroes. Yeah.
Like when you would like come from me, I'm like, I'm not the hero. They really are.
And then you're always there with the camera when the players come to the ground. Because we always get those shots. But they always come to Facebook or whatever. About
as they're arriving in the car
the players arriving.
I have like a half an hour window where I do stand there, and people I do know sometimes walk past and they look at me like, what am I doing? Just stood by the door with a camera. But then I'll do that, and then that takes roughly about 1:15, and then I like to say I have 15 minutes downtime, i.e. I posting the stuff and just sat on my phone looking at like other games and stuff like that, because obviously there's another 10-11 games in the league that are going on at the same time, so you look at those and then you think, well, what could that do? And then come 1:30 I have to go get the team sheet and then prepare the line-up graphic and get all that ready to go out for 2 o'clock. If I'm honest, it doesn't always come out at 2 o'clock, but I always will lose track talking to someone or something like that. And then warm up 2:15 is when kind of my head switches on, and then like my phone turns off. I don't really look at my phone unless I'm posting something or something like that. And then warm up, do pictures of the warm up, get quite a few, and then put them out before kick off. I don't think I've done it today, so bit slacking, if I'm honest. Yeah, and then come to the game is when I would be the official club photographer, and I would take pictures of the game really, and yeah, if you'll either see me with a camera in my hand or a laptop editing all my pictures.
Well, as long as I've known you, I've always remembered seeing you with the camera on the side of the pitch, taking all those photos. Not only of the action, but fans as well, and all that stuff. Yeah,
I think last season especially, as we did have those moments of like those like amazing moments which fans really could capture,
iconic moments. And you got some great pictures there,
especially that Truro game. Some of those pictures was just like
brilliant.
There was just some raw passion in it, and it's just from a picture.
Today of all days, that's nice to think back to.
We've had lots of happy memories.
That's
but
right.
how much time does it take you weekly? Obviously, we said about match day. Do you do anything during the week? Obviously, sometimes you've got 2 matches a week these days, and evening kickoffs as well.
Well, yeah. When we do Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday I do basically the same, but in a way I would say I strip it back. But I also tend to do it in a. I think the word right is in a more pressured time. I have a shorter period to do everything in a way. So obviously because I do go to school.
We forget. Listeners forget that
a very good school as well, I have to say.
And Paul's the teacher there, I believe.
Ben, Mickey Parcell, all been to that school.
Yeah.
I don't do politics. That's all right.
Neither do I. That's the trouble.
What if there's one thing? What do you love most about the club? Because obviously you got the bug from a young age. What is it that keeps drawing you back and to this club and do all the amazing work you do? I mean, you do amazing. Everywhere we go, Ben's there. It's like away matches. Ben is there. You know.
When you ask me that, I really would say I really don't know. But in a way, I support the club.
Yeah.
So in a way, I would argue I would be there anyway, watching.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would always there, and always the people around. There are some people that I always look forward to seeing in a way.
Okay, you can mention us if you like.
Just you, John.
Thanks. Yeah. I'll give you that $5 later. Yeah, it was
when you do the photography, then you don't. Do you just sit in one place, or do you wander around the grounds? Do you follow your instinct, or do you have a pattern?
I don't really wander around because last year, kind of a league rule was you kind of have to stay kind of in a fixed position.
Okay,
but is that a national league rule?
I think so.
Yeah.
But we're in the Ishmael now.
Yeah, so it might change.
And you'll see me on the pitch.
Do away games differ in terms of your routine?
Well, yeah, probably because I get to games a bit later. Probably about 1:30 I'd get to games.
But players coach.
Indeed.
Yeah, but even if it's a nearer one, I will go in the car, get there for about 1:15, that kind of time window, I'd say. But everything's done beforehand. All it just needs is pictures and stuff like that, and then it's just kind of all ready just to go out. Anyway.
And then after the game, you were involved in filming the interviews most of the time.
Yeah.
When does your match day actually finish?
And do your parents mind you missing all where's our son?
Yeah, that's another discussion. Well, with the post-match, I film it sometimes, but I'm never the first person to film it because I've said it's another thing for me to do. There's other people that are more than capable of filming it and posting it, which I was just I don't need to do it. So why am I being pushed onto it? I get when no one else is there, yeah, but
mind you, a couple of weeks ago you actually conducted the interview with Gavin, didn't you?
Yes,
I did.
Yeah,
and I was listening to that, thinking, that's Ben.
Yeah,
it was
that's exactly what I thought. I know that
voice.
voice.
I thought it's my own child was there. I was celebrating. This is Ben. I was getting my kids. I was watching.
That wasn't your first interview you've done with Gavin.
No, that's
the
second.
Second, isn't it? Yeah. But I was thinking,
but the point you make there, you've done enough already. We were talking earlier about how few volunteers are doing so many jobs. Anyone listening, there are jobs here. If you want to get involved with your club, there are ways to help.
Do you attend the training sessions as well?
Occasionally.
Yeah, because when there isn't a midweek game, we of course train Tuesday nights and Thursday nights.
Well, I do sometimes like to give myself a Tuesday night off.
How dare you?
got to do your homework at some stage.
I do
commitment, is it, Ben?
I do have homework to do.
Overrated, if you ask me.
But if I have the option to attend, and in a way, I have the rapport with other people that I can just turn up if I want to. But I tend to rock up to training if we have a signing or there's an event going on or something like that, and they want me there.
We can talk more about your involvement with the club, and I'm interested to understand more about your relationships with the personnel at the club, the players, the management, etc. But as I said at the outset, today it's for all the wrong reasons, it's a pretty momentous day, I suppose, in Town's history. It's the first relegation in Town's history. We can talk about the game in a moment, I suppose. But looking over the course of the season, where do we think it went wrong? There are things on the pitch, and I don't mean about the players and the personnel just yet, but is it something about on the pitch, the creativity, not being clinical enough, defensive mistakes, set pieces, or is it more off the pitch, being part-time, the budget, the mentality, the psychology of the players? Where do we think it went wrong, chaps?
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? By the way, I mean, we all saw this coming, didn't we? But it doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think if you think back about previous podcasts, we were sort of saying where we're going to finish at the end of the season.
Very much so.
Episode by episode, we kind of crept below it, each of us, didn't we?
But I mentioned this in the commentary today, but last season, 24-25, we scored 49 goals the whole season. We've got 50 this season. We let in 88. We've let in 10 less this season, 78. Yet we've got less points, less wins. I'm not quite sure what that tells you. I mean, does it tell you that the quality of the league's gone up? Perhaps. I mean, we've scored more goals, let less goals in, yet we've got relegated and we've won less games. And looking back on last season as well, towards the end of last season, we put on, from the 8th of March onwards, we put on a great run. We had a great run where I think we had 7 or 8 games, it was eight games unbeaten. We haven't done that this season. I don't think this season we've gone 8 games unbeaten. We also had 3 wins in a row, end of last season.
Haven't done that.
We haven't done that this season, and I think that's the difference between the two. That we just haven't managed to go on those runs. Now, is it deficiencies in our team, or is it the fact that other teams are just better, other squads are better this season, or is it a combination of both?
I'd say probably a combination of both to a degree, especially the standard has improved, and fiscally as well. I think we know clubs have been more investment in the National League South. And for me, the sliding door moment was after the 5-0 victory away to Farnborough, and then the next game 8-0 to Maidstone. It was like, wow, it was just when you're thinking, even I remember the Farnborough fans we were chatting to there thinking, we're going down, they're going down themselves, that is. And then the next match, 8-0, was horrendous. And just when you're trying to build that momentum from a successful game, and I think since that day, we've kind of had a little mini run, but it's been unsustainable, whatever we've done.
Well, I know that Michael's, you've got a theory on this, because we had that 8-0 thumping at Maidstone. And then I think your theory is we kind of went into our shell, didn't we?
Absolutely,
Don't concede goals.
Yeah, exactly. The following 3 games after Maidstone losing 8-0 were Bath at home, Hampton and Richmond at home, and Chippenham away. And ordinarily you target at least 5, 6, 7 points, maybe 9 points.
All teams around us.
Yeah, all teams around us. They're the winnable games. They're the games you target. Ordinarily, I think we'd have maybe got 5, maybe 7 points from those 3 games. It looked like the players psychologically, whether deliberately or not, whether just subliminally, the aim was let's not get thrashed again. So it was just a bit more cautious. It was safety first. We didn't try to win those, and we only got 2 points from those. We drew 1-1 with Bath. We drew 1-1 with Hampton. Both of those were at home, and we lost 1-0 away to Chippenham. I think if we'd only, we'll never know, but my theory is if we'd only lost 2 or even 3-0 to Maidstone, it might not have been weighing on the mind so much, and the next games might have been fresher starts. Let's go and try to win these.
You could also chuck in the 1-0 away defeat to Salisbury in there as well, where we were very much on the back foot. Those 4 games in the context of the season were crucial, weren't they?
Yeah.
And as you say, we only picked up 2 points from them, which just wasn't good enough.
And do you think it's like a question of, for me, is it mentality or sloppy defensive mistakes we made, and sometimes lack of creativity? It's particularly the last quarter of the season.
I think lack of creativity has been a factor this season. I mean, I think we saw it today, didn't we? Where we defended well today against a decent side, but we just didn't create anything at all. It's a combination of things. Missing chances when we're on top. The only one of the few games, couple of games where we haven't done that, the 2 Farnborough games, where we've really punished them, where we've been clinical. Well, the rest of the time, no. I mean, you know what? The epitaph for this season will be, particularly away from home, where away fans have come over to us and said, "You're too good to go down," because we played well in so many games this season, but we haven't put teams away.
Whereas last season we were taking hammerings before Christmas.
Yeah, that's right.
There was Maidstone, but there haven't been too many hammerings. Ben, what's your take on this?
See, my view will change on this a lot because I just feel like a different game we played very differently, like in a way we set up to play against the team. But I think if you look at our squad, I think the quality of the individuals players have improved from last year, but I think the team aspect has been what hasn't improved with it, and I also think the league has gotten stronger with teams. And also money-wise as well, I believe, has gone right up. Like, you look at the teams around us in the league, Bath have had an inject of cash.
Yep.
Hampton spent 10 grand on a defender from step one. So you look around us, the teams have the resources to try and fight for their lives to stay at step two. But in a way, we don't have that. I'm not putting it all on that, but we are very much the underdog in this fight, and we always were. So, in a way, we just kind of, everyone writ us off. But from a squad point of view, I think defensively we're actually really solid for most games.
Compared to last
for 80
season,
minutes.
Yeah, compared to last season. Yeah.
For 80 minutes.
Or 90 plus, isn't it?
But last season, as I say, before Christmas, we were taking hammerings. It was four goal conceded. It was fairly regular. This season, there was Maidstone and one or two others, but by and large, we lost games by the odd goal.
Exactly. And I think from that last year, you bring in the players like Bailey, you bring in Henry, you think Zav comes in as well. You look at the team that we had at the start of the season, the team we had at the end of that season. I remember we had like 48 players that whole season, and I think some of them had the most of like 2 games, and they just didn't play. Yeah. Whilst you had the players that came in and just like, he's got the quality, and let's get him to play with us, and let's use him to kind of go get higher up in the league. And I mean, you saw that from Christmas onwards. Like after that loss to St Albans
last season.
Last season.
That was New Year's Day, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think we were on 14 points at the time.
Yeah.
And then what did we end on? 48. So
Paul mentioned the great run we went on.
We did.
I would interject here as well. That coincided with Cian Dillon arriving. He wasn't here for. It's the classic catchphrase. It was a good time, not a long time. He was brilliant. He had such an impact, and there was a bit of an impact when he came back into the team this season, but it was all too short. He was injured, and then the loan wasn't extended, and etc. And he seemed to bring the best out of Lamar Reynolds this season. We saw last season what impact he alone could have, the energy he brings, the intelligence of his runs, the space he created for others. It's not all on him, but I think it was a big factor. We lacked something up front this season for most games.
And I think we said before, it was like the last podcast, this team's an upgrade on last year's when you actually put man for man in some capacity.
Which is your point, Ben.
Which is your point you made, Ben, as well. You know, and that's what we previously said. And I still think it's the case, but it shows the calibre has definitely improved in this division. And the investments in clubs.
Cian was like a bit of everything. He was quick, he was strong, he could finish, and he was short, but he was a bit of a bully.
Absolutely,
at the same time.
Like Wayne Rooney was
he just shouldered everyone off.
Yeah.
Like he would always be first to it, or would be the first to it when it goes over the top.
It was a big loss, wasn't it? Because as Michael was saying, he came in for not many games this season. Was it a couple of games, 2 or 3 games? He did look really good, and he was getting the best out of Lamar. It was great foil for Lamar, wasn't
and he was winning the ball in midfield as well to push forward.
He's just a bundle of energy, isn't he, Cian Dillon? He's just everywhere. He must be a nightmare for defenders.
Yeah, exactly.
And without him, you look at the bare facts up front, we have struggled this season. Lamar is just into double figures. He's got 10, I think. Sam Youngs, who's played everywhere, he's played as number 10, he's played in midfield, he's played up front. Where would we be without his goals? I mean, even a worse situation, 14. Apart from that, Corey Andrews has got 1. Lodovica, did he score?
No, not at all.
Hawkins got 5.
Wood got
Hawkins is our third
Wood got 1.
scorer.
Wood got 1 and an own goal.
Yeah. Bartlett Antwi didn't score.
Yeah.
Up front's been the problem, isn't it?
Well, both the clinical finishing, but also the just creation chances.
Yeah.
Haven't created that many. Ben, just coming back to something you said players, the personnel, possibly an upgrade in terms of individuals. The team mentality perhaps not as good. Do you think there was something? Explore that, and is that related to a kind of mentality of a setback leads the team to crumble a bit? Parcell goes off injured, the team crumbles. Concede a goal from a set piece, the team crumbles.
I was going to come on to Mickey. You think Mickey's been injured for a good part of the season?
Or suspended.
One or the other. But you see, like, no Mickey. You don't have that leader on that pitch. Like you think the games we've won 5-1, 5-0. Mickey's played a full 90 in all those games. I'm not saying he was the main part, but he is the person that can lead this team. I also think the loss of Tomo, even though he's newer to the squad and is like inconsistent with availability or injury, when he's in that team, you know he's in the team because
he organises.
He's the foundation of that back line.
He is a good organiser at the back, yeah.
And I think that was one of my questions I wanted to ask him, was the leadership on and off the pitch as well, because you see a bit more obviously off the pitch than we do, and you know. How do you find it in the changing room time? I mean, off the pitch, what's your perception of that?
Well, I'm never in the changing room, but
perception,
outside, around.
Yeah.
You can even tell, like, when I'm at training, who's some of the first few there who rock up just before training starts. Like, you think Mickey's always the first one in training.
Yeah, leads by example.
Mickey's normally the last to leave, or he was until he had his kid.
They'll teach him.
But you're right what you said about Mickey. I mean, Chesham last Tuesday night, the game seemed to turn when he went off.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got amazing impact, on and off the pitch as a leader.
Even off the pitch last week, and we're deliberately going to avoid talking about the incident that happened against Chelmsford. But when Joe Wright was leaving the pitch, he was escorted off by the security guards, and Mickey Parcell came over as well as part of that sort of
True
escort.
leader,
just doing the captaincy thing.
Yeah.
I think somebody said as well, Mickey was injured for the Chelmsford game. He was in amongst the fans.
He was.
That was part of it. He had his phone out and he wasn't checking, the Premier League or the FA Cup scores. He was checking the other National League South scores. Yeah. He cares about the club. I think he said, Paul, today after the game, he and Sam Youngs were in tears.
They were the most affected by it.
He didn't look anyone in the eye. He had his head down the whole time.
Yeah, they feel it. They really feel the club.
Exactly, and if you had to put money, who's going to be with us next season? you can't put money on it, but if you had to, you'd pick those two hearts with the club through thick and thin.
I would have thought so. That's right.
And it shows they lead by example, and role models to any young players as well. Let's face it. And
Jake Cass, in his limited time, you could see as well he had a bit of an impact. It looked like he was just a leader from the way he conducted himself on the pitch.
He's one of those players who just has that presence. Yeah, I feel
it's kind of difficult to describe, but yes, presence.
Yeah, it's very difficult to describe, but like he leads on and off the pitch, like you say. Like he won't be in the squad, but he'll be around the whole time. Yeah. Like you'll see some players maybe are injured, they might not come, but he'll be there the whole time, home or away, if squad or not.
I was privileged in the second half, chatting to him the whole second half. And today, I should say. Yeah,
this is the game against Hemel.
Against Hemel today, and he's just he has that tenacity and leadership and presence as well, and he loves the club. I mean, I know he's come back. It wasn't obviously because of Dubai, what's going on there with Iran, etc. But he came back willingly anyway, and it shows his love of the club. And he's a role model to others coming through, They're the core of the team, I think. That sort of leadership and mentality you want around the club. Even if you're not playing, he's still there because he loves the club. And that's why I think, next season we can persuade him as well. Mind you,
if he has to.
What?
He's held together by duct tape and blue tack at this point, isn't he?
And it's a shame he got injured the first couple of minutes, he was saying to me, Chelmsford. And,
within 2 minutes.
And he still kept going because he didn't want to let the team down. And that's the mentality we need going forward, is people who want to be here, like yourself. We're all volunteers. We don't get paid for what we do, but we do it because we love the club end of the day. Exactly. And that's what we need to rebuild and get that core team in there, leaders on and off the pitch, which is important. Sometimes you think it might wane when like you said, when Mickey's not playing, it wanes. That belief, and Tomo got injured as well. We can see it physically affects the team, so...
Well, I was going to say, I think that's one of the reasons Jake Cass was brought in, actually. Yeah. I mean, you could say it was kind of last roll of the dice because things were already looking a bit iffy, weren't they? And I think, you know, Jake was available, he was in the country, he'd spoken to Gavin, and I think the idea was his impact off the pitch as much as on the pitch, because they seem to be quite a quiet squad, don't they? I mean, you'll know more.
They're
than
lovely
us.
guys.
You'll know more than us, Ben. Yeah, lovely guys. But other than the leaders who we've spoken about, is that a correct thing to say? They're quite quiet.
I think quiet isn't the correct word. I think I'm not going to say this for everyone, but I think the relationship between probably you guys, as in I'm saying in a fan's perspective to a player perspective, is very different to when we were at Step 3. Like, you look at Step 3, those players will be up in the bar till like 7:30, 8 o'clock, or having Guinnesses, having a great time and connecting with those fans. You can see now at home games. I reckon if we finish this podcast and go up there, they'll all be gone, and there'll just be fans up there. Yeah. I mean, I think
is there a positive aspect to that as well?
I think there is a positive aspect to it, but I think in a way the bar is like. Well, I remember growing up when I was a little younger. You can go and speak to them there. Like, you can actually go and have a conversation with the players there about the game or just about anything you want to. But if you're, let's say, if you don't have that kind of ambition to go speak to them, like, you're gonna like ruin the atmosphere at the bar. I'm not saying like they do, but if they just go when they want to go, it's just a bit different to maybe how it was.
And the players we have spoken about just now are the ones who you do sit at the bar, aren't they?
Yeah.
And not in a pejorative sense. It's not that because they want to
but
plastered. They want to be in the bar and be available.
They want to speak to the fans.
Chatting to the fans. Yeah, that's right.
And that's why I do love that, is that it just bonds the fans with the players and the club even more.
Yeah.
You know, we're in this together mentality, and of course Ben does not drink; he only has a Coca-Cola. But it's nice to
it's not so much
a social.
It's not a drinking culture.
It's a social.
No, I mean, Hayden Bullis, for a young man, I think he's got a lot of leadership qualities. And he's up there a lot at the bar, and we chat to him regularly, don't we? And he's drinking Coke. He doesn't drink alcohol, but he's up there chatting to the fans.
And he's a proper gentleman, mature for his age as well, Hayden, and very respectful. And I don't know why he listens to us, but hey, but it's how do you find, like, have you developed trust in the last couple of years with the players and the stuff? How's it been for you, Ben? Like, your relationships with them as you're around the club?
Well, in my role, like, in a way, they're going to have to see me. But in a way, they don't have to speak to me. But in a way, sometimes they want to speak to me.
It's good,
so, in a way, there's that rapport. I will say rapport a lot because it's something I've had to build. But if I didn't have that kind of rapport with them, it would be a very different relationship. I'd just, like, stand, like, from afar and just, like, have my big lens, just shoot from afar. But there's some players I'm obviously closer with than others, and that is probably from, like, little things in common or, like, stuff like that. But I mean,
you get more of an insight, you know, and it's gradually, it takes a while to build trust, I guess, you know.
The insight I have is quite an interesting one. Like, you'll see even at training, like, say I rock up at like 6 o'clock, training starts at 7. Like, none of the players will be there by then. I reckon the first one normally rocks about 6:20, and, like, they'll all go and shake everyone's hand. It doesn't matter if you've been there once or, like, a lot of time, you shake everyone's hands there. You just get on and you'll have a conversation before training, or even during, like, the water breaks. They will want to speak to you. Some of them will ask for a bunch of photos, which is fair enough. I mean, that is what I'm there for. And some people quite like to ask for photos, like, a couple hours after, i.e. Chris Forster.
Name and shame, why don't you? For their own sort of social media accounts and all.
Mainly for their accounts and for their own personal use. Like, in a way, that is one of the things I do it for. Like, I do it for myself, my own portfolio. I do it for them, for their use of social media, however they want to use it. I also do it for the club. So I'm kind of getting a 3 and 1 in a way.
Which reminds me, we should get a picture of the 4 of us.
We should. Coming back to our sort of post-mortem into the relegation, which has happened today. Something you cannot shade over are the late scenario earlier in the season. I think we've estimated that late goals earlier in the season cost us 10 points.
Something like that, yeah.
And we said at the time this could be big come the end of the season, and it's right. If we were 10 points better off, we'd still be in the fight with Farnborough, wouldn't we?
We'd be on the same points.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so, yeah. I think before today anyway, I think I made it level with Farnborough.
Yeah.
So
we thought it'd come back to bite us, and it certainly has. And
in terms of, again, that post-mortem, we've talked about the budget and we've talked about creativity up the top of the pitch. Sloppy defensive mistakes and set pieces seem to have cost us a lot. I did a little bit of homework before today. The last 6 games, I just looked at the goals we conceded, and I think I picked out something like 5 set piece goals and 4 goals that just came from what I loosely termed sloppy defending. As opposed to, I think on Good Friday, Chelmsford, they scored a wonder goal at one point. They scored a brilliant volley.
Goal of the season.
And you hold your hands up there. That's just one of those things. But there were a lot of goals in 6 games to have conceded 5 set pieces and something like 4 or 5.
Almost given on a plate at times, with especially edge of the box and free shots.
It's an interesting one because I think that defensively that's been one of our strong points this season. But the flip side of that is, as you say, Michael, we've let some really sloppy goals in.
There always seems to be a mistake in there.
Set piece goals, for example. I mean, we let a couple in against Chesham in recent games. There was one against Worthing when we were 1-0 up against Worthing, and how did they score from a corner? It is
up against Dorking as well.
Just that there has been sloppy goals. That's right, and that's been costly this season.
So another stat I looked at, as well as the set pieces, or kind of related to the set pieces, it's the second balls. I think a lot of the added time goals, we'd clear the penalty area, and it was almost got the impression the defence or those around thought our work is done, we've cleared the area. Didn't win the second ball, it would come back, and we'd lose an added time goal in that way. Again, I did some homework on the last 5 games. Passes. We had fewer passes in the opposition each of the last 6 games, and we won on one of those against Dover. We still had fewer passes, and duels won. So that could be first ball, second ball, headers on the ground. Duels won. Our percentage was lower than the opposition in each of those last 6 games. I think passes, that talks to quality. Does duels won talk to mentality?
You know what? I think it could be a question of mentality and tactics sometimes, because the thing is you've got to win that second ball, and there was 50-50s. I would commentate the Chelmsford, we just seemed to lose every duel. It was like so evident, but particularly last 6 games it's been like that. What do you reckon, Ben?
I feel like confidence is one of the main things, especially with like what you say, duels and stuff like that, but also the late goals thing. Like you can let in one late goal, and then I think the confidence of having like, oh, well, if we concede a late goal again, it just like feels like it's inevitably going to be happen.
Is it psychological?
I think it's psychological. I think there is a psychological aspect to the late goals, and maybe some would say like a dual one, like say you make a mistake, like and it costs you a goal. Say the first thing you have to do, in my opinion, is you have to win your next duel no matter what, because in a way, if you've made a mistake and then you've lost your next duel, your confidence, like you're going to be gone, like, and you're going to struggle to get back into that game because of it.
So I was just going to say, sorry, Michael. On losing those second balls late in a game, which you talked about, so a lot of those goals when we conceded late early in the season were losing that second ball and the ball comes back in the box again. Is that linked to the fact we're part-time?
That's exactly the point I was going to
make. And we're playing full-time teams, so you get to the end of the game and you're just a bit tired and they've got a bit more fitness and so on and so forth.
Could it be that fitness? Because you've seen step 3 and 2, I guess.
I mean, in step 2 you have to look after yourself, and if you're part-time and you're coming up against teams who train every day, there is that little cutting edge, you could say, and that's probably, like you say, you play a part-time team, those, like say at step 3, those second balls, maybe you could have cleared them, But especially because you're playing those full-time teams with that little cutting edge, they have that quality to finish you off. We saw that the hard way when we first came to Step 2 when we lost 6-1 to Slough.
Yeah.
They just done the same thing every time. And they were 5-1 up after 50 minutes. But I think you can watch all their goals. All their goals were just cross bang from defensive areas because they just targeted that one flank.
Yep. We've talked about attack, defence, budget, fitness, part-time, management, coaching, tactics. What do we think?
Well, on management, another thing I've got noted down here, because sadly I was expecting this post-mortem to come with regret. Of course, it's been noted that the squad's not big enough compared to a lot of other teams. But in terms of squad, we've lost a lot of players as the season's gone on. So we've had players come in who have shown promise, and then for whatever reason they've joined other clubs. I've got a list here: Matty MacArthur, Jack Bates, Evan Jones, Tommy Wood, Harry Lodovica, Tosh Gallimore, Ruben Bartlett Antwi, Ollie Davis. Now, are they leaving because they weren't good enough? Or are they leaving because maybe possibly the management of them wasn't good enough, i.e. they weren't getting enough game time?
I think some of these players' situations was different in all of them. I think when you talk about the game time ones, I think you're looking at players like Av. I think you're looking at players like Tommy Wood. I think you're probably also looking at Harry Lodovica. Harry Lodovica is on loan, and he is still under contract with us. So I mean, at any point we could have recalled him back, but we didn't. That is something you could link to that, but in a way, I don't know. I think Jack Bates is an interesting one, as he's kind of one of those very injury-prone players. So we brought him back in. He was building his fitness back up. He was nearly there, injured again. So he was trying to build his fitness probably back up again, injured again. I think that was the mutual decision to probably let Bates go, and I think it's fair enough that he's got to move to Horsham. I think he lives around there. And I think he quite suits a Horsham as a player.
Yeah.
He plays quite a lot like how Horsham play.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you probably saw it when he played Dorking, scored an absolute banger.
Ollie Davis, kind of, and Matty MacArthur. I think Ollie Davis, it was nothing to do with the club, was it? Enfield Town. He was approached, but if he'd been playing regularly, might he have stayed?
I don't know, to be honest, because in my personal opinion, this isn't me like slandering the club, but you look at Ollie Davis, he is a very promising player, and he's in my opinion, very good player. But you look at Hemel coming in for him, I think in most aspects of everything around the club, you would want to go to Hemel, which is in my opinion, which is fair enough. He hasn't. I mean, some could argue he had a kind of legacy for St Albans, but I mean, you can do whatever you want with that. But I think Hemel, if Ollie's trying to get back to the Football League and is a professional, by the way, he's only just kind of come out of Ipswich. Like, I think Hemel would be a move in the right direction.
But he wasn't a regular starter here, though, was he?
No, he wasn't. He was kind of in and out of the team, but he was at the club around the time when Keane Dillon was back and all those players.
Yeah.
That kind of.
I remember they were all competing for the number 10 spot.
Yeah, that was the moment when we thought, hang on a minute, we've got a lot of options up front.
We have a lot of options.
Yeah, we did, yeah. And then that's quickly dissipated, didn't it?
And I know from Hemel Hampstead's point of view, they were really happy to have him, because I spoke to Ian Allenton, and it was a work with him for my charity fund enough in some projects, and he said they were really glad to have him. It's good to have in the squad.
Well, he is a quality player.
He's a quality
He's had a lot of injuries,
player.
hasn't he?
Yeah, but they still believed he's had a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Now we've gone down, I'll just broach it. What do we think might happen with Gavin in terms of what do we think the board might want? What do we think Gavin might want?
Well, it's a difficult one. I mean, we spoke to Gavin briefly, didn't we, before we came in to do this podcast, and understandably he's very downcast.
Blaming himself.
He was blaming himself, as you would as a manager, because ultimately
he took it on the chin.
With you. Yeah.
You know, and credit to him, you know, and he didn't want any sympathy out of it. He's an honest man. That's the thing about him. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and you know where you are with Gavin, I think, and I still think he's probably the best manager we've ever had.
I think he's. I mean, you know, to bring us up
On and
that
off the
season,
pitch.
that season,
Oh.
I don't think anyone was expecting us to
Ahead
go
of
up.
schedule, wasn't it?
That's
really?
right, it was, yeah. And then we got to the playoffs, and we thought, but the usual playoff scenario, we're losing the playoffs, and then that wonderful day at Chatham.
We've still got loads of pictures on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, and then to pull off the great escape last season.
Yeah.
Considering the amount of goals we were shipping before Christmas, it was just remarkable. It was incredible.
Well, I mean, you look at our goal difference then. It's like minus 20 something.
That's right.
At Christmas, which is
I
unheard of.
Yeah.
hope we retain, and Gavin wants to stay as well, because definitely he's the guy I'd look up to bring us up again.
I wouldn't have thought for a moment the board would suggest he would go. That would be on Gavin said so, and I would hope they would persuade him to stay.
And it depends his ambitions, personal ambitions as well. So, you know, ball's in his park, but we want you, Gavin, if you can stay.
And also, it works both ways. He'll probably talk to the board and say, well, what are your ambitions?
Yeah,
you know,
true.
Where can you see this club going? Because do you think you're going to just fall into being a step 3 team, or do you want to get back to step 2? And because you know,
It's the ambition.
we've got the fact that we're a fan-owned club, which we all love, but that does have certain limitations. So I think he'll want to hear from the board on those things as well, won't he?
I was going to touch on the fan-owned bit. Like we have found out the hard way, the fan ownership thing does have, in my opinion, I'll say a limit of probably where we were last season. But even there was even times last year, especially like when we were losing a bit with the year where we went up, there was a whole talk about the fan ownership model and how we should maybe do something else, because in a way I think we all thought if we want to like go up the leagues, I don't know how much the fan ownership model works. You look at teams like AFC Wimbledon, they are fan owned, but they have an owner. They don't have a 100% fan ownership model. There's another team that is making that I'm trying to think of that are also fan owned, but
What are the German sides?
Well,
the German sides do the
51%.
51%.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, maybe that model would
I think Portsmouth at one stage were fan owned, and then they had a poll amongst their members who are the fans, because it was the Disney guy, wasn't he? He came in with some investment, and they said, yeah, we need some investment. So you're right. Yeah, sometimes you can go from the fan owned, but the trouble is with that is if you do say, oh yeah, we'll get some investment, who are these investors going to be, and what do they want from the club?
I was going to touch on that. I think some people's point of view would be, I'm going to go back to years where I weren't even born, but like maybe a PTSD from the old Enfield of, like you say, Lazarus selling Southbury Road and us having to form the club we are now. But what I could say is, could that potentially be a risk of like, do we want that to happen again? Like, could that
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, do you think the German model might work as the next stage? Yeah, the 51%, 49%.
I do like the model. I think it is a great model, and I think in a way German football is one of the most entertaining to watch, and it looks the most appealing. You think you can go for €20 to go watch?
Which is fantastic.
Like you could barely get it'll probably be £20 soon to get in as an adult, which is like mental. As only 5 years ago it was £10 and £1 for under 16s.
An addendum on Gavin. He strikes me as somebody who takes it all very seriously, which is a good thing. At times, I think back to last game of last season, we stayed up against Worthing. I interviewed him immediately after the game, and he was seething because we'd lost 5-1. And I was trying to steer him to the point that we've stayed up, but his mind was just full of the fact we'd lost 5-1 and what we needed to do better in the match. That's the mentality of the man. It does make me think he might offer his resignation, but I'd be amazed if the board accepted it. I think the board will try to convince him to stay.
I would agree.
Definitely.
That's right.
So that's a bit about the general matters on the pitch and affairs off the pitch. In terms of some of the actual playing side of things, one point we've discussed quite a lot in recent weeks on commentary is within the diamond in midfield, the use of Hayden Bullis on the right of midfield. Ben, where do you stand on that? I think the consensus amongst the commentators' little circle here is it doesn't bring the best out of Hayden Bullis. Any thoughts on that?
I was going to say I don't think he should be in the right of the diamond, and I don't think a diamond really suits a player like Hayden. I think Hayden is at 8, at a push of 6.
Yeah.
I think Hayden will run, and he will run for days. That's why I think they've put him on that side. But I think he's one of those tanks that you need in midfield.
That's kind of how I think between the three of us summarised it in a nutshell. He said it, Ben, and I think he's just, sometimes we're limited what we could do with injuries and suspensions or whatever you, but he seems wasted in that role. He's isolated and he's not getting enough of the ball to get, maybe that's, like you said, he plays 6 or 8. Maybe that's why we're lacking creativity at times on winning those 50-50s in the midfield, which we tend to be, last 6 games that we said statistically, has cost us quite a lot.
Well, I mean, the game we beat Farnborough 5-1 here, due to injuries, he played in the 10.
He did.
Yeah.
And I thought he did really well. I think that's a role that really suits him.
How does he fit in if Sam Youngs is fit? Does it just mean changing the formation?
My view is he was best brought out when we played a back 3 and he had a midfielder with him.
Yeah.
I think if he had a Mickey with him, or even a Bailey, but I would say him and Bailey are very similar in terms of position wise. I would highly not think Bailey would be a 6. I think Bailey's an 8.
So he's better when he's got a midfielder alongside him who's more defensively oriented, which releases him a bit more forward.
Which gives him that free row.
And that still allows Sam Youngs to be in the team.
Yeah, exactly.
And he can roam in the midfield in front of the central defensive midfield player there, just so he can, win those loose balls.
He also has the eye of the pass as well, in my opinion.
That's what we're saying.
Like you think the amount of times he has fed Bill or Nino when they were playing that wing back role.
And I always thought, for me, if Mickey was fit, he's the one who picks up the pieces behind in front of the defence, and then him just pushing forward, he's got that capacity to win the ball in midfield and release it, a good pass as well. And on the wing, you don't get the same opportunity.
No, you can see he's a fish out of water when he plays out there.
But
Billy Leonard's a much more obvious fit, isn't he? I think the dilemma for Gavin McPherson has been Hayden Bullis has been one of our most consistent performers this season, and he gives you so much energy, so you want him in the team.
Exactly.
But then you think the diamond suits you best, so it's trying to fit all these players in, isn't it? You've got to have Sam Youngs playing the tip of the diamond. It's going to be someone like Mickey Parcell or Traore or Rory Donaldson today.
Donaldson did well,
the low point of the diamond. So where do you fit Bullis in? It's got to be on the right hand side.
It frustrates me a bit that the main beneficiary of the diamond seemed to be Ollie Knight, and he's a good player, he's an honest player, he's technically good, but I've had the choice in terms of who am I building my team around, it would be Bullis over Knight. But there we go.
Yeah, the diamond is probably what I think Ollie Knight has played a lot under Gav. Like, I think one of the only managers Ollie Knight has played under is Gav.
Yeah, because he's
he's played a lot under Gav. I think that's one of the main pulls of Ollie Knight coming to the club.
Yeah.
I think Ollie Knight is a great crosser of the ball. I think he's a very good player at the attributes he has that some of the other players I don't think has. But like you say, building the team around him or building that diamond around him is a bit like, it might be because he is the one that is most familiar with it potentially, but yeah.
On Hayden, by the way, I also think he's in recent games he's looked a little bit leggy. He's a young lad. He's played a lot of football.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I know they all wear the training vests or the GPS systems, so they'll have the data on.
Well, they will. Yeah. And I could be well off the mark.
Well, Orient, you still use him as well.
That's right.
During the season, so
yeah.
I feel like in a way he gets run out by Orient and he comes to training with us on Thursday, being muscles all very tight. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Elsewhere on the pitch, Henry Hawkins, I just wanted to have a quick word on him because he had that incredible run against Chesham where he stormed forward from the halfway line, played a little 1-2, got all the way to the byline, pulled it back and set up a goal. Then today, at times, he seemed to be inspired by that moment and went galloping forward against Hemel as well. And he's our third highest goal scorer. He's shown really slick technique in front of goal. And yet when he gets the ball in his own half on halfway, the default switch for Henry Hawkins is smash the ball about 60 yards forward, about 30 yards up in the air as well. Is there a really good defender in there who's sort of been shackled? What's going on there? What do you think?
Well, to be honest with you, what you've just talked about, isn't that what you want from a defender? Like, if you're under the cosh
If
and
in
you're in
doubt,
problems, just give it a whack. If in doubt, give it a clout. Just get rid of it.
But when he does push forward, he's quite technical as well.
If you're inside the opposition half, then show your skills.
That's the QPR coming out of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a very good player, and he can find a goal as well. That's something that he's
third top scorer.
He is,
highest top scorer.
Right. He scored a great goals at Eastbourne.
Yeah,
that was a lovely strike, left foot, beautiful.
Well, I mean, he just knows how to find the back of the net. I think sometimes he can find the back of the net better than some of our actual strikers.
Yeah, indeed.
But he's just one of those players where, like, you know what you're getting.
Well, it did make me think. At half time, we were sort of discussing off air.
Yeah, that's right.
Might there be a case for switching to a back three and giving Hawkins a bit of licence to take the ball forward?
Maraud forward.
It's a bit late now, obviously.
Yeah, but that run against Chesham, that
was one of the moments of the season, wasn't it?
Stroke Alan Hansen, stroke, John Stones, what are you going to call it? It was
part of the thrill of it was how surprising it was. I just didn't see it coming at all.
I think he surprised himself as well.
I need to watch this wrong because I weren't there Tuesday.
He burst from his own half into the centre circle, beat a couple of players, at least two players.
Beat two players,
then kind of made the goal. It ended with
played a 1-2, kept going.
I was going to get him in my five-a-side team.
I mean, they have done five-a-side in training before. I think before an FA Cup game, they liked it. I think they have done some of a few times called the Lucasade Cup.
Yeah,
Lucasade Cup.
I saw your pictures from that one. Yeah,
I did decide to put that out one time. I think it was before we played Corn in the FA Cup. But it's so funny.
And going on about defence, what about Paul Appiah? I think what a great player, and he's turned out to be. I think we definitely missed him with Chelmsford, even obviously he was ineligible to play. But
he's March Player of the Month as well.
Yeah, I think
he was my player of the game match today. To be honest with you, I thought it was excellent.
Credit where it's due. He's definitely one of those players.
He's showing off his chest.
Yeah, he just didn't have a medallion though. I could have lent him one of mine, you know. So,
what do you make of him, Ben?
Yeah, I think he's a decent player. I think he brings out in a way some aspects of Tomo, like in terms of that foundation. But obviously, what we need now is goals. But in a way, he does actually pick the ball up and actually does drive a lot forward. So he does have that thing, and he does have actually quite a lot of passion when it came to the thing. I remember. I think it was before the Salisbury game. I think it's one of my only interactions with him. He was coming back in from the warm-up and he was just watching the shooting, and I think like they missed a good 5 in a row, and then I'm not going to quote what he says because it's obviously a bit I think we've got to keep it PG, but it was along the lines of, these lot can't finish, how are we going to score goals?
These lot can't bleep finish. Or worse to that effect, But so I'm scared.
Yeah, he's been a real asset, particularly with Tomo being injured. We needed somebody to step in, someone reliable. It was interesting talking to the Chelmsford media mob on Good Friday. They asked how he's getting on. I asked them how to pronounce his surname. And
have we been right, by the way? Is it Appiah?
Well, they asked him personally, and he said either. He's relaxed. Appiah or Appiah. So I've been going with Appiah all season.
I spoke to Ghanaian, and he said Appiah. I thought, I can't get this right. Whatever we do, like you said.
But he's relaxed either way. The Chelmsford mob were a little surprised when I said he's been really good. Yeah, I think.
Okay. Right.
So there we go.
Did he get a fair chance at Chelmsford though? Did they?
Last season, yes. This season, I think he only had half a dozen appearances.
But he's been brilliant. I mean,
they've had money thrown at them this season. So.
He reads the game really well.
Sorry?
You look at the squad at Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got
six-figure investment.
They've got a squad of, I think, Step 1 players who just don't play like a team at Step 2.
Yeah.
They've got players like Grimwood and stuff like that who really should be playing.
And the man up front.
In a summary, though, chaps, what do you think? What works in your opinion, what's worked this season and what hasn't worked tactically?
I, in my opinion, think we played a bit better with our back three sometimes.
Right.
In terms of utilising and getting better out of other players. Like, especially, I think, with the centre-backs mainly. Like, you look at Tomo in the middle, Zav and Henry either side of him. That is very much a core centre-backs, and they are very strong in a way. I think...
Do you think that gives us more freedom to be more creative?
I think it does give, especially players like Billy and Nino, who are very much attackers, but playing in defensive kind of positions.
So Nino's not as restricted defensively.
I think in the back four we have restricted Nino, but in a way we restricted Nino, but he's popped up with a couple screamers.
Yeah, well he has, yeah.
But yeah, we get. I personally think that Nino is a midfielder or a winger.
I think he is.
I don't think he's a left back.
Yeah,
he's got good upper body strength. He likes to win a duel, but yes, I see his assets going forward.
His defensive aspects, like, I think I can count quite a few times when a winger has just got it round him.
Am I right in saying we haven't played the back three huge amounts since the 8-0 at Maidstone? Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
Do you think that's a coincidence?
Did that scare the coaching staff a bit?
Possibly.
No, I don't know, because I think we actually played a back four against Maidstone.
Oh, did we?
I
Okay.
don't 100% know, but all I just remember was being 3-0 down after like 20 minutes.
There were a lot.
We certainly played three in midfield that day.
I think
kind of 6-8.
it might have been 4-3-3.
Maybe, possibly, if we did it's just, I don't know if it's a coincidence, because we were playing 3-5-2 most of the season, then our run hasn't been as successful playing 4-4-2. Maybe it's because we're losing the one less person in midfield. Maybe we're losing those midfield tussles, possibly, in my opinion, but what do I know? But what do you think, guys?
My take is it's not so much the formation. I do agree with you, Ben, actually. I think all things considered, the back three does allow it just allows an extra body in the middle. My take is more pick the formation that brings the best out of our best players, like Nino, like Hayden, Sam Youngs, Mickey Parcell even, and I think the three at the back works that way as well. It particularly with Bullis, Nino gives them a bit more license to go forward. Would potentially give Henry Hawkins license to go forward, and it means Mickey Parcell can be kind of involved in the centre.
Yeah. And you're kind of restricted by injuries as well. If Mickey gets injured, then you're restricted playing
that's been a factor this season. Again, the nature of having a smaller squad,
that's a
injuries
tactics.
have a big factor, don't they? We talked about Mickey Parcell earlier. So, going forward, next season, back to the Isthmian Premier, what are we thinking?
Depends which personnel stay.
For me, is first of all, if Gavin's going to stay, and obviously, and the players might, but you bet your bottom dollar if I had to put money, it'd be Mickey Parcell and Sam Young staying.
I think they're your only definites.
And I put it much in the club without them.
I think there are some where, like, I think people would probably stay, potentially, but it depends where other teams come.
I think we're allowed to say that Joe Wright's pondering retimement. It's not cert, but he's thinking about it possibly.
I certainly hope he stays, because he's a good keeper.
The goalkeeping issue.
I think he's capable of playing, but it's up to him.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And maybe on a positive note, just to ask you, Ben. I mean, rather than doom and gloom, and obviously we're going to be in the Isthmian Premier League, but you know what? It's got to be optimistic. Is who's the biggest joker in the team?
Biggest joker.
Yeah.
From my view, Mickey Parcell. He seems to be. From my view, he seems to be like the life of that changing room.
Yeah.
And probably,
even more reason to have him here next season.
Yeah.
But like in a way, he loves the club.
Yeah.
He's a good egg as well. One thing I'd mention. The reverse fixture against Hemel, it was freezing. The game was delayed 45 minutes because of a floodlight failure, and Mickey was suspended. Obviously, He came in to co-commentate that evening, and when I went back on air for the start of the second half, he reappeared with a cup of tea for me, which I just thought was a really nice gesture.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nice touch.
Shows the class of the guy.
Touch of class. Yeah.
And who's the most serious one? Isn't he, like you said, anybody who's like comes in, whatever you do, you can't get a smile out of him?
I'm most serious.
Yeah. Focused, I should say politely.
Well, there are quite a few that are kind of poker face in a way. I think everyone's serious, but in their own way.
Yeah.
You've got the poker face people who come in. That's probably like a Yaku or a Corey.
Yeah.
Like those kind of players. But then you've got, in terms of the players that are most serious, you probably see it on the pitch. You have the players who show the most fight and probably like show the most kind of care on the pitch is probably who you think are the most serious.
I don't know, who's the best like trainer? When you see a training, turns up early, gives us what goes home late.
In terms of performance in training, in my opinion, I would have to give it to Eli.
Yeah.
I think
Really?
Really? That's interesting.
I think Eli actually shows a lot of like. Well, he's a young, hungry player.
Yeah, absolutely.
He shows up on the pitch when he comes on as well. You know,
Definitely.
he's got no fears, has he? He just goes for it.
That's interesting.
And he's on trial at the moment, isn't he? It's
Yeah,
at
Wickham.
Yeah, so we wish him well.
Wish him well. And who's the loudest? Who's the one who makes a big noise wherever, or training and that kind of stuff? The character you're always going to hear.
The character I always can I count the Kitman?
There you go.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Neil. I think Neil is hilarious.
He's the heart, isn't he?
He's the heart. You can always hear him telling someone off or something like
But
that.
having characters within the club like that are really important.
Yeah,
really.
very very much important. But he does a lot. Like he'll keep their boots. He'll wash their boots. He'll clean all the balls. He'll wash kit. He'll have everything ready like 2 days before. Like there's been loads of times where we've talked about doing like a little video for him and stuff like that with like what he gets up to. But then he's just like, well I have the home dressing room ready by like Thursday morning, and I'm like, well.
And one last one, I suppose, temperament wise, if you were stuck in a lift with one player, who would you not want to be with? If things went wrong,
Who would get really angry?
You get really angry.
We've got an idea.
The whole,
Yeah.
We've got an idea.
We saw a bit on the pitch today.
Yeah.
And a bit on the pitch today might have hinted towards that.
In my opinion, I'm very tight with him, so it's kind of one that I wouldn't mind thinking, because I know you're all thinking Zav.
No, not at all. Zav's
Gives
an
you that
angel. He's
impression,
an absolute angel. No, we love Zav. He's a character, and I love his fight. Yeah.
Who are you thinking?
Who's
of
you're
then?
thinking of though? Other than Zav.
Other than Zav. I don't know.
There you go. It was Zav then.
It wasn't I don't mind being stuck in the lift with any of them.
Yeah.
Mate, I think it depends on like if you say how they act in it. Like,
Yeah.
I think if you have a Zav that gets angry, I would say Zav. But if it wasn't Zav, it could be anyone.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't mind.
And who would be the saviour if you were stuck in a lift who's going to get you over that cliff and so I don't know, get out of the lift and save your
Finally, the
life?
lift's gone over a cliff.
Yeah, well,
That is
might be a
scary.
bit like our season though.
Yeah.
It's gone over a cliff. Yeah,
From the squad, I'd probably say Mickey.
yeah, good.
Back to Mickey.
Yeah.
Back to Mickey.
That,
Good
oh,
answer.
man.
so that feels like a good note on which
Yeah.
to end. Nice upbeat note as well.
Yeah.
Ben, brilliant. Thanks very
Thank you
much.
so much.
It's been
Absolutely.
really
No worries.
interesting.
Yeah, I think we should give him
Yeah,
a
another round of
That
applause.
was brilliant. You've been a fantastic
And
guest.
when you're old enough for your pint, we'll buy you a first pint. We feel like surrogate parents now, don't we? Really? It's like,
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Some of us, John. Right, great stuff. Cheers, Ben. Thank you, John and Paul.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll try to get one more in, I think, for the end of the
Yeah.
season. But thanks for listening. This has been We Conquered All the Bostik.